So I've heard a rumor, and we do the Chevy Chase podcast, you and I, Mike, that Bob Hope may have been the proto Chevy Chase. Is this a true statement? Because weren't we talking about those travel movies and Spies Like Us, and that was the whole
movies?
The road movies. And so now we're talking about a Bob Hope movie this year, so it seems a little apropos given the Chevy Chase of it all.
I haven't heard the thing about Chase. I was talking with a biographer of Woody Allen, and he was saying that Woody Allen pulls a lot from Bob Hope, and I can really hear that, especially with the delivery and the kind of little under the breath type of things that he does. So yeah. I actually downloaded a bunch of Bob Hope stuff, so this fits in perfectly with what I've been watching lately.
I would not be surprised at all if Chevy Chase, whether he would ever admit it, had Bob Hope in his mind and heart and soul as he was doing his comedy, because that's the generation. It's, however old he is, a little bit older than us, certainly he would have been watching Bob Hope movies, the road movies, and because Bob Hope was sort of a debonair and sort of, not like a real big physical comedian, even though Chevy Chase was, I think he would picture his persona being more like Bob Hope.
Right. There's that kind of backhanded compliment kind of thing. Just get a little mean-spirited, not a bunch, but I think that Chase revels more in the mean-spiritedness of comedy.
And the aloofness of it all.
Yeah, but aloofness, that's a good word.
But the thing that Bob Hope doesn't do is the fucking well, I guess he does do the pratfalls and the physical horse shit that Chevy Chase was known for.
Little bit, little bit, yeah.
Not as much as Chevy Chase. Not as much as Chevy Chase.
But then Chevy Chase, beyond like a few like shots in foul play, like I don't know that in movies. No, I guess he did. I guess in the vacation movies, he did pratfalls. He was falling off roofs and, Oh,
yeah. He really screwed up his back when he jumped onto the very hard mattress. And what was that, Chris? Was that Germany in European Vacation?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
And then got hooked on painkillers?
Probably. Him, who else?
Jerry
Burt
Lewis.
Reynolds. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds, Burt
Reynolds had that fall in City Heat. Wasn't that the one that he did with Clint Eastwood?
Yes. And then he began taking the pain pills, and he started losing weight. And for a while, there were rumors that he had AIDS because he had dropped so much weight so quickly. People were like, "Oh my God, have you seen Burt Reynolds?" And it was right around that time, But yeah, that happened.
I didn't remember that, but I know that whenever anybody loses a lot of weight very quickly, I remember when Billy Bob Thornton lost all of his weight post Sling Blade and was like, "Is everything okay with you?" He's like, yeah, no, I'm just married to a crazy person and I'm crazy too.
Perfectly logical.
So on this episode of the Kulturecast, I'm still your host, Chris Stachiw, much to the chagrin of at least two people out there in the world. And I'm joined by my two good friends. Yeah, one of them is right here with us, Mike White. Joining us all the way from the projection booth is Mike White.
Silver bells, let's put some dough in the kitty.
Boy, kinky, eh? And all the way from Richard Haddam's Paranormal Bookshelf, he's the Haddam on the shelf in everyone's life. Your friend and mine, he programmed this entire month, so it's his fault if we don't like these movies. Richard Haddam.
I did not pick a quote, so I'm just here saying hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
And on this episode of the Kulturecast, like I just mentioned, we are joined by the two of them to talk about Richard Haddam's month of fun with all these Christmas movies. And we are talking about 1951's The Lemon Drop Kid.
Okay, so let me just jump in here really quick. Some of these movies, and you've heard me talk about them, are some of my favorite movies of all time. I really enjoy The Lemon Drop Kid. I would not put it in my favorite movies of all time, but to me, a part of what I wanted to use this month for was not just to trot out, "Oh, It's a Wonderful Life." I chose a few down the middle favorites, Elf, Scrooge, Miracle on 34th Street. Some real classics. This one is practically unknown as a Christmas film, and yet it is a Christmas movie. It's got all the beats, all the themes of a Christmas movie, and it's got a famous Christmas song, and it's got And it's just got a lot of laughs and a lot of spirit. I really think this was an opportunity to let people know about the Lemon Drop Kid, and maybe you can introduce a new film into your holiday rotation. I think you're going to like this one.
Richard Haddam's Holiday Rotation. There you go. That's the name of the show, Richard. It's like Rankin on Bass, but you just cover Christmas movies the entire year. Wouldn't that be fun?
Finds himself in big trouble when he gets a bad tip in The Lemon Drop Kid on WFXT Fox 25 Boston.
So the film is directed by Sidney Landfield with uncredited Frank Tashlin, based on a screenplay by Frank Tashlin, Edmund Hartman, Robert O'Brien, with additional dialogue by Irving Enelson, and it's based on the Damon Runyon story of the same name. And this does, like we've mentioned, star Bob Hope, Marilyn Maxwell, Lloyd Noland, and Ann Sheridan and William Frawley. Yes, William Frawley all the way from I Love Lucy. And the film is about the titular Lemon Drop Kid, played by Bob Hope, who is a swindler, I guess, a con man who cons the wrong person out of money at a racetrack and ends up having to make good on a $10,000 amount of money that the guy who lost the money at the horse race would have won. And so we get ourselves embroiled in some con artist horse shit with Bob Hope running around the city of New York trying to figure out how to pay $10,000 back by Christmas Eve, or else his head will be in his stocking, to quote Moose Moran. So kicking it to you first, Mike. First time you saw this movie, if it wasn't now, when was it? And what did you think then or now? And does this make the holiday rotation for Mike White?
I don't have a lot of movies in my holiday rotation. There's Die Hard and
Happy Trails, Hans.
Yeah, that's kind of the one that I watch the most. It's really not Christmas till I see Hans fall off of the Nakatomi Tower. So, yeah, this was a first time watch for me, and I really enjoyed it. I had a great time with it, so much so that I went back and I checked out the 1934 version as well, which also has William Frawley in it. A little bit similar in story, but really, I mean, similar insofar as it starts at a racetrack. That's about it. The main character of that, the Lemon Drop Kid of that, I can't remember the actor's name, but oh my God, can he deliver patter like nobody's business? And he's really good at doing that. The whole $10,000 thing really isn't on the table. There's all kinds of misunderstandings. There's his wife who ends up dying. Yeah, it gets pretty sad pretty quick in different places. But yeah, this one, the Bob Hope one, really enjoyed it. I really love so many of these actors. Fred Clark, William Frawley. To see fucking Tor Johnson in here was a real treat. I was so excited. As soon as I saw this Swedish wrestler, I was like, that's Tor Johnson. But yeah, I had a real fun time with this movie, and I've actually watched it 2 times since. And yeah, I can see me watching this a few more times as the year goes along. So again, or years, I should say. Probably not. 2025 is not the year of Lemon Drop Kid. Maybe it will be in some circles, but not for Mike White.
What about you, Haddam?
Well, there came a time when I actively searched, and this is within the last 20 years, maybe within the last 10 years, where I was sort of like, well, I know what I watch every Christmas, but there's got to be other things. And that's when I think I sort of got a bunch of DVDs, Christmas in July, Christmas in Connecticut.
I love Christmas in July.
Right? I mean, which is, again, kind of an offbeat sort of Christmas kind of thing. And I'm like, there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen, but they're out there and they're classics, so I want to check them out. So I checked out a bunch of them. I mean, even I came to White Christmas late, and I do like the movie White Christmas. But some of them didn't quite work for me. And, and then someone was like, have you ever seen The Lemon Drop Kid? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, it's Bob Hope's Christmas movie where he debuts Silver Bells. So a classic Christmas song debuted by him. And it was a big deal when this happened because he kind of scooped Bing Crosby on this one, and it became a classic. And yet everyone knows that Bing Crosby has a Christmas classic, White Christmas, and no one knows that Bob Hope was the one who debuted Silver Bells. And it's a wonderful sequence. I mean, really charming. It's exactly what it should be. And you're like, it's one of these movies where you watch it and you're like, how do I not know this? How is this not, getting run on, all the channels? How is this? How did I not accidentally just see this? Because in December, it's just everywhere, but it isn't. And yet it's delightful. We've got multiple Santas. We've got holiday songs and a big Christmas Eve climax, which I always like. So,
Jesus Christ, Adam.
To me, it was a bit of a discovery, and yeah. So, I enjoy it too. And of course, Damon Runyon. That's another thing for people nowadays. Unless you saw some high school production of Guys and Dolls, you may not really be in that world, but this is one of those movies that lives in that world, isn't it?
Sure does. How about you, Chris? Were you familiar with this one?
No, I knew nothing about it. All I knew is that Haddam programmed this month, and I knew that we were going to be watching a Bob Hope movie, and this is the first Bob Hope thing I've ever seen ever. So
I was gonna say, God damn, I love it, and it kills me that I program these movies and you're like, oh, I've never seen Cary Grant. Oh, I've never seen Bob Hope. But I'm like, I'm thrilled to be the one to help you lose your Bob Hope virginity.
It's too bad it wasn't my Milton Berle virginity, Well,
they do throw the man a line in this.
They sure
cow's
do.
Inside the house. Well, Milton Berle's on tonight.
Yeah, they sure that's why I brought it up, because they kick it to old Milt. Big old Milt, as they would say. I enjoyed it. I had never seen it before, and I think the thing that I enjoyed about the movie is you guys didn't mention the absurd names of the characters, which is just I think my favorite part of the movie. Everybody has like the most like 1940s weird.
19 Runyon.
Yeah, it's like it's so specific, like the Lemon Drop Kid, like that's the character's name, like, and they just call him the Kid over and over again. Like I don't know, obviously it's very anachronistic now, given the way things are and the way we are as a society. And it's a fun movie. I'm not sure Bob Hope is for me. I think I'm not going to say I dislike Bob Hope. I think my issue with Bob Hope is more of a me thing and less a him thing. I think my issue is just he's self-aware almost too much, and there's a little bit of like winking at the camera that I'm kind of just like, that stuff wasn't necessarily for me. However, that being said, I enjoyed the movie immensely. I think that the use of silver bells I think works in the movie, especially when they explain why and how the song works the way that it does, and you get like the original quote version and then the sanitized version, as the movie would probably play it off. But I enjoyed the movie immensely. Again, Bob Hope, maybe not my cup of tea all the way, but I think he works here pretty well in terms of what they need from him. I guess the question that I have is, on the poster, is that supposed to be him as a lady with that hair, or what is going on?
A bad poster, and yeah, that's supposed to be him when he goes in drag at the end of the movie, and he looks more like Little Lord Fauntleroy or something.
It's bizarre. The poster for this movie, I think, is really upsetting.
I'd never seen it. The DVD cover is him dressed as Santa holding onto the prison bars, and then of course they just put Christmas lights around it to sell it as, hey, it's Bob Hope and it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, that's got to be better than that poster with the blonde hair. It's really not good.
The logic behind posters is its own history book. I mean, you'd have to know what was popular within the past 6 months to know why they painted the poster the way they did. But yeah, they clearly wanted it to be known as a wacky comedy. I will say this, Chris, I think this is a really, really solid first Bob Hope movie, because I think if someone had heard you hadn't seen Bob Hope, they'd go, oh my God, you've got to see the Road movies. And they would point you to the ones he did with Bing Crosby. And there were a handful of them, and they were immensely popular in the 50s. Like immensely, like dollar for dollar, Hope and Crosby might be the most successful comedy teams of all time in terms of dollars earned at the box office.
Yeah, I was watching an intro to this movie with Robert Osborne, R.I.P., and he was saying that I can't remember which studio this was, but Bob Hope was one of the 4 most bankable stars that they had, and one of the other one was Bing Crosby.
This is a Paramount Pictures film.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get it. Like, I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I get the appeal, you know, like I get the appeal of Bob Hope. I just, I think when you have this kind of movie, the movie is that you already mentioned the Runyon of it all. Like, there is so much in this that just feels so specifically Runyon that it is, again, like Bob Hope works in this. And if this is a solid Bob Hope movie, okay. But yeah, it's, I think for me, when I think about a movie like this, a Christmas movie that's trying to kind of have somewhat of a message, but at the same time have this kind of redemptive arc of the main character, by the end of it, I'm not sure I believe that Bob Hope is a redeemed character.
Well, he's very much, the Bob Hope is he's the slippery schemer, and his delivery in this movie is very indicative of his radio delivery, which was, picture this, twice as fast. I mean, this guy could spit out words like it was stunning. That was sort of his thing. You know, he and Groucho Marx actually had sort of a legendary radio episode. I think it was Flywheel, Shyster, and Flywheel, which was a Marx Brothers radio show. But there was a classic episode where Bob Hope came on, and the two of them were going on, just boom, 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 boom. And it was like, wow, these two comedy icons. And throughout Groucho Marx's life, he always kind of tipped his hat to Bob Hope, because I think he recognized not everyone can do the boomity, 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 boom and get the words out and make them funny and get the timing, because it's a skill and it's not everyone can do it. What you're seeing right now is a very good rendition of it, but at not even his top speed. Nowadays in pop culture, and if you listen to the Gilbert Gottfried podcast in its reruns, when they talk about Bob Hope, it is the old Bob Hope. It is the Bob Hope of the TV specials in the 80s.
The USO tours?
No.
And even later.
Yeah, because he started the USO tours back in World War II, but then kept it up all the way into Vietnam, which was a little tone deaf at times. And then, the TV specials. I mean, that's what I grew up with, was Bob Hope as an old man doing a lot of George Burns-esque shtick, just like, can you believe how old we are kind of thing. And he really looked kind of bad towards those end years. But those things didn't impress me. And it really took a lot for me to get over that hump and to finally start to watch some of these movies and be like, oh, okay. And I think it was the radio stuff that helped out, where I had heard him on the radio and said, oh, this is actually really funny. Like, he's in Jack Benny's league as far as being really freaking funny on the radio. Yeah. And it's a funny sort of retro, stepping slowly back in time process, because I'm like you, Mike, when I was a kid, it was a big deal. And he was making a lot of money, I'm sure, for NBC. He was doing 3 or 4 specials a year. And that's who I thought he was, just this old guy who sort of, it's like, hey, tonight it's going to be me and Lonnie Anderson and the Village People. Right. Hey, those guys sleep 6 on a bunk bed, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. I guess this is what grownups think is funny. All right, I'm in. And then, then that goes straight into the knowing that Dave Thomas does a really funny Bob Hope, and they really skewer him in SCTV. Like, it's like, oh, they're making fun of Bob Hope. This is so cool. And it was even after that, late 80s into the 90s, before I was like, let's go back. Let's see who this guy was. And then you're like, oh, this is kind of the tragedy of life. When you're famous, and you're famous for a long time, the world gets to see you grow old and get not great at what you do, and unless you're real careful, Paul McCartney is being careful.
Johnny Carson was careful.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Carson was careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're talking
David
about
Letterman. I don't know if David Letterman is being careful.
Yeah.
He's growing a big bum beard, and I don't know what's happening with him. I'm not really following it. I just know that 40 years ago, he was the greatest guy and the funniest thing in the world. This is the arc of a world famous human being.
I think he is unretiring. David Letterman. I think he found that it was too boring to be retired, even though he really hadn't retired very well at all. He's retired like, who was it? Stephen King kept retiring and just kept coming back.
Right. Yeah.
Same with Tarantino. Just go away already.
Just fucking make that 10th movie and leave. Yeah, but to your point, the delivery, and I love those little like aside things that he does, like, or when he's talking with what's the woman's name? Thursday,
Nellie Thursday.
Nellie Thursdays.
Doll.
Yeah, keep your chins up. You know, those kind of things. Or like when he sees the Santa guy ringing the bell and everything, he's like, well, at least you got a pot. I'm like, okay, that's nice. You know, like little like quick zingers in there, and I was like, yeah, this really works for me. And yeah, some of those little throwaway lines that he was doing, I was like, all right, these are really nice, very, very, they all landed for me.
But the thing is, it's like when you spend a decade and a half, you know, and your only gig is 4 specials on NBC, you know, with, you know, Pink Lady, and then the only other thing you're known for at that time is like doing the you know, the Reagan inaugural. It's like, who is this asshole? and it's sad because it's like, oh no, that's like, I didn't catch the first 45 years of your career. It's like, I mean, and this is, I don't want to get into this, but it's like, if you're in your 20s right now and you hear the name Bill Cosby, it's like hearing the name Charles Manson, you know? And it's tragic when you're old enough to go, yes, but there was a time. Dial back the clock 50 years and we didn't know, but he was brilliant. And
his brother
no
Russell.
Excuses and no apologies, but fuck, man, you should have, you know.
I remember that his brother Russell thing, that was like, I listened to that when I was growing up and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I really did.
Used to listen to all those old comedy records. I mean, still it's like this many comedy records. And
And by the way, to be clear, Bob Hope does not have that reputation.
No.
It's not like somehow in 2002 we found out he was, you know, drugging and raping people.
There was no Jimmy Savile with Bob Hope.
No.
Wouldn't that have been something? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He was very likely living the life of a male superstar in the later half of the 20th century. Okay, God only knows who he was fucking on those USO tours. I don't know. But you know, it wasn't.
You saying Bob Hope was gay?
No.
Well, that's what I thought you were getting at. I mean, who knows?
I'm just
who knows?
I'm talking about him fucking starlets, you know. And
there you go.
Hey, we're bringing out the girls, you know. I mean, that is
Bob Hope's a good-looking guy. I wouldn't. Well, who fucking cares, frankly, right? If Cary Grant can do it, that's all I'm saying. Bob Hope is a good-looking guy too.
But Cary, God, now everything is gay now, right? Now everything is gay.
I mean, again, to go back to the context of it all, in a certain time in Hollywood, you couldn't be out and gay. That's all I'm saying.
Rock Hudson we know about. Cary Grant, heavily rumored.
Him and who was it? Randolph Scott, I think, were partners.
In whatever way you describe partners. All I'm saying is, as far as I know, in the Hollywood whisper stream, it was never, and he wasn't gay. He was a big male star. So he probably, I'm not sure he kept his wedding vows. Let's just put it that way. I have no proof other than the culture. That aside, though, what you're seeing in this movie is what made Bob Hope a superstar. I think everything he does well is on display in this movie. He is, you know, the Woody Allen part is the cowardly, but the Bob Hope part is the I'm super vain while I'm being cowardly. I'm trying to think of who are the modern equivalents.
Ryan Reynolds.
Thing. Oh, okay. There you go.
Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is very much in the Bob Hope vein, right?
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say like, well, again, like I mentioned the fourth wall breaking. What is Ryan Reynolds known for now? Like the fourth wall breakingest thing of all time, to the point where it's like breaking the fourth wall in and of itself while breaking the fourth wall with, you know,
like
Deadpool
16
Wolverine.
walls.
Yeah, like 4x4.
it's not as sort of a classic comedy persona now as it was in the past. That's sort of like, I'm the lovable scoundrel who's always an inch from getting, I'm always, I gotta
But Ryan Reynolds is that.
Cops.
Ryan Reynolds is that, though. He totally is. Like, he's become,
Is he? Okay.
yeah, he's a character unto himself now, I think, right? Like,
Okay.
I think we mentioned it on the Deadpool Wolverine episode. Like, Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, at least the cinematic version of Deadpool, are one and the same. Like, it is just Ryan Reynolds at this point, and I think that's because of how big of a personality Ryan Reynolds is. And if you had been making Marvel movies in the 50s, there's no fucking way Bob Hope wouldn't have been cast as some sort of like slick talking superhero. I mean, genuinely, right? Like, think about if those kinds of movies had been made at a time where these kinds of people were popular.
Well, slick talking, a very slick talking guy who was always being sort of hoisted on his own petard and then having to talk his way out of that. It's like the comedy of you keep digging the hole deeper.
Right. Getting a bigger
How
shovel
will you
every
ever
time.
get out of the hole you have dug for yourself?
Yeah, and that's kind of this movie right here as
Yes.
well as this whole, okay, I owe Moose. Sorry, I keep wanting to say
Moran.
Moose Malloy. Yeah, because Moose Malloy was, he's from, what was that? Not After Dark, My Sweet. Murder, My Sweet. There we go.
Yeah, the Chandler. Yeah.
Right. So I keep thinking that. But Moose Moran, Fred Clark, who usually plays like the uptight office guy, but seeing him as the gangster, I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. But like having him in Florida and then having what's the guy's name? Oxford
Charlie.
He's got the big, Oxford Charlie. And once he gets wind of the scheme that the kid is trying to pull in order to pay back Moose, then he wants to get in on it. And it's just, it's this, we keep getting deeper and deeper into this stuff because he ends up having a really good plan. This whole thing of it's basically creating a rest home for old dolls, which I love that he calls it for old dolls. But then it's like, okay, well, now that's making this money. Oh, you raked in $2,000 just by being out on the street with the bells and everything. Yes, we did. Okay, well, I want that money. And now I'm going to put my feet inside of here. And I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about the names of all these characters, and William Frawley's character is named Gloomy Willie.
Oh,
And let me tell you, if you've ever had a case of Gloomy Willie, go see a doctor.
There's a medicine for that, I think. I was on
They
it
have
earlier
it.
this
Now
year.
They do.
Yeah.
little blue pills. Yeah.
Yeah. And on this episode of the Kulturecast, brought to you by Blue Chew. It's if your dick doesn't work. We're not sponsored by Blue Chew. I'm sorry to tell everybody. And if you are
we
sponsored,
should be.
right? Like,
Blue Chew, come to us.
Oh, wow. No pun intended.
It's not that hard. Come on.
Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of dolls, Marlene Maxwell or Marlon
hubba.
Maxwell, right? Good Lord. Brainy, huh?
Brainy. She's brainy, you guys. Come
Oh,
on.
man.
Who doesn't
I
love a smart woman, for fuck's sake? Like,
She's great. She's great.
Yeah.
I love that she's got that picture of the kid in her room, but then when she knows he's coming back, she just takes it and throws it in the garbage. Then he walks in, he sees the picture, pulls it up, starts polishing it, and then I think he even gives himself a kiss on the face.
I love that picture of him too. I want a picture of that picture on my desk where he's just like, it's fucking. I mean, go watch it again. It's disturbing. He's just like, it's like, oh, Bob Hope, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She's great though. She feels
She's
like
amazing.
an equal to him.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and that, I mean, in 51, like, come on, like, I'm not saying it wasn't a thing, but it feels a little out of time in a positive way, like at this, right? Like, at least in my mind, I mean, again, 51 is not a time known for the equality of men and women in film and storytelling.
I would say it's a little different in comedies because you definitely get a real good male-woman interplay in so many of these
That's
movies.
fair.
I mean, going all the way back, I'm sure it happened before His Girl Friday, but to see Rosalind Russell and Cary Grant trading those barbs and going back and forth.
Specifically comedies is what you're saying.
Oh,
it's a okay, that's fair. That's fair.
It's a comedy thing. It's a
romantic. It's a romance thing too, I guess.
True.
To be fair, but that's because I guess they need them. In a romance, they need two big leads. Like, that's almost the necessity of it, right? I guess. That's the question. In a comedy, do they need two big leads?
Well, the Damon Runyon of it, there's a kind of brassy sort of like, the men are all either gangsters or low-level schemers of some sort. And then the women kind of have to be equal to that. And in on that culture in a way that, there's not a lot of, in Guys and Dolls, the whole joke is there's a woman who is not part of the Guys and Dolls world, who one of the guys meets up with and falls in love with. That's in the movie. It's Frank Sinatra falling in love with, I don't remember. Forgive me.
Oh, I loved her work.
Yeah, great actress.
Isn't she great?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgive me. The amount of fucking commitment to the bit from the three of us is just it never gets old. That's why we do this. That's why ranking on Bond is a thing. That's why Richard came up with the title of the show at the beginning of the fucking first episode that we did. It's the commitment to the bit.
But what's good about this is, and what you need in a movie like this is that everyone is against Bob Hope. His girlfriend's against him. There's a mobster against him. Then there's another mobster against him. The cops are against him. He is up against the wall at all times. And yes, part of the joke is that whole sequence he does into the mirror that goes on a bit.
Oh, down in her lobby?
Yeah.
Yes, that's so good.
It's kind of like, even if you needed to even distill it even more and just go, okay, here is what this guy called Bob Hope was. And he's alone for, again, minutes on end in a single shot, which is not common, in movies. It's just like, okay, now for the next 5 minutes, you do your thing. And he does his thing, and it's his thing. And you see that and you're like, okay, if I wasn't clear up until this point, now I know who this guy is. I'm on board. I get it. He's full of himself, but the world's against him. He's not a bad guy. Ultimately, we're going to believe that his better nature will win out, but we don't know, because this guy looks like he would sell out his mother and Mother Teresa if he had to. And we're just going to have to wait and see how this shakes out. And then it shakes out in a very satisfying way.
I know this is an aside, but I just want to put this out here. How old do you think he is in this movie?
Bob Hope?
Yeah.
Without looking it up?
Yes.
Or are you saying the way his character is? Or the actor himself?
The actor Bob Hope.
28.
Without looking it up. Okay.
40.
47.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Born 1903. This came out in 1951. This guy's 47 when he's making this movie.
That's that's fucked. That is the term fucked.
Like 20 years you were on.
Good for him.
Amazing, but that's brilliant. I
thought he looked great. He looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Height of it. Well, that's the other thing about movies of this era and a little earlier. And I'm going to be talking specifically about Abbott and Costello and especially the Marx Brothers. What we're seeing on film is a shadow of what they were doing live on stage. Okay. With the Marx Brothers, it is part of their lore. You read one book about the Marx Brothers, you will learn you're seeing them 15 years past their prime. Now, what we're seeing appears to be amazing. And then you're thinking, wait a second. So we're getting the tail end. See, in a weird way, the same thing with Martin and Lewis. Mm-hmm. People talk about their movies. Now it's a little less about age and it's just more about, look, when you're making a movie, it's a controlled environment. When you were in a nightclub and Martin and Lewis came out, nothing was under control. It was a madhouse. And you had to see it live because you never knew what was going to happen. I mean, literally the show would start with Dean Martin's, crooning some love song. And then you would just hear 40 glasses shatter. And it was Jerry, who at the time I believe was about 21, maybe 22, dressed as a waiter, walking through the crowd going, "I'm sorry, Mr. Martin, I'm sorry with the thing and that I love it with you. I'm sorry, I dropped to every no, please forgive me." And then he'd go up on stage and they'd go for 2 hours. So all of which is to say that what we're seeing of Bob Hope at 47, this is not his first rodeo.
Not even his second or third.
Not even a second or third. And yet to us, it's like, this is a young, brash guy who is fucking hitting on all cylinders.
And for me, him being 47 is wild. Because he doesn't even look it on top of everything else.
No.
He looks damn good.
Yeah, I was going to say the character is probably supposed to be 35. You know, but I'm like, well, it's not possible that he was 35. He had to be older than that, and in 51. And yeah, 47. Even I'm surprised. That's older than I ever would have guessed.
Bob Hope is genetically talented. I think just basically genetically talented. I mean, hey, some of the most some of the most iconic people in Hollywood at that time are like when we watched The Preacher's Wife earlier in this month. Like
The Bishop's Wife.
The Bishop's Wife. Sorry,
yeah, same. Trying to say.
Yeah, sorry, wrong movie. Same idea though. I mean, I don't remember what age Cary Grant was in that movie, but it was like he looked timeless. It's like he existed outside of reality. That's how good looking he is. Because no, Richard, it's not a gay thing, but can you imagine looking like that and not having men and women throw yourself at you and have to pass it up? Well, when you look good, and that's the same with Bob Hope. Bob Hope looks 20 years younger in this movie, and he's presenting 10 years younger in the movie. Chris, it's wild.
Look, I get what you're saying, but what you're basically saying is a male movie star is so attractive that they almost have to be gay. That's almost like saying Tom Cruise is gay.
Oh, come on. Let's be serious here.
Yeah, that would not be a thing. I mean,
just because they're incredibly attractive and they put across a lot of sexuality on the screen, I mean, you might as well call John Travolta gay.
Oh, would you stop besmirching the good names of our American male stars?
No, but Mike, but that's my point, of course. Is that it would be unthinkable just because they are icons of male sort of beauty that suddenly they're gay. That's crazy.
It is. Yeah. Okay. I see your point.
Yeah. It would be wild if there was an organization that held things over either one of them so that wasn't the case, right?
Are you talking about Deep State?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Squirrel Busters specifically. But that's the thing. I mean, again, when we look at Bob Hope, same with Cary Grant earlier in the month, like he's just so removed from again, what reality feels like because he is such a big personality. And this is the thing. I mean, again, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of what Indian cinema just always is. Like, that's what this is. Bob Hope is just, Amitabh Bachchan or, I mean, he is though, but that's the way Indian cinema is still treated. People go see movies still because of the people that are in them, which is a thing. Like people were doing that then. That's why Bob Hope was the lead in this movie. People were going to see it because it was a Bob Hope movie. That's not really a thing anymore. I guess people were making the case that Top Gun and Tom Cruise are the last, quote, movie stars, unquote. I'm not sure I agree with that sentiment, but I understand what they're getting at. But Bob Hope is his own thing. It's like you are so outside. Again, there are a generation of people now that do not know who Bob Hope is. I get it. That's fine. But for more people that are alive right now than not, Bob Hope is still a person of note. Same with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. I mean, like, again, these are people of note to more people than not. I was telling people that I was getting to talk to Max Gale for our Barney Miller show, and people still knew who that was. Maybe the people are a little bit older than me, but I still got, as they would say in the wrestling industry, I got a pop out of them. They were like, Max Gale. I was like, yeah. So, like, again, like, that's still a thing. Bob Hope is still a thing for now. But to both of y'all's points, I would like to see more of this version of Bob Hope and not the version that y'all are talking about, which sounds real bad.
Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. When we watched Bishop's Wife, and it was the first Cary Grant movie you had seen, and you asked me, well, now, did I make a mistake? Should I have watched North by Northwest first? And I'm like, no, just go watch North by Northwest next. It will not take away anything. But in this case, it brings up an interesting question, which I'll throw to Mike. If now this is the first Bob Hope movie a person has seen, what's the second?
I would say my favorite brunette should be the second one because I really like that one.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
And still not a Crosby.
Yeah, no. My favorite brunette. I just recently downloaded Monsieur Beaucaire, which is supposed to be really good. I've had the Ghostbusters or Ghost Breakers, I should say, on my server forever. I think like Cat and the Canary is supposed to be really good as well. And I'm trying to remember what else I've got lined up for myself.
It's funny. Chris brought up Lucille Ball. Mike, have you ever seen Fancy Pants?
I haven't.
Fancy Pants was fun. I remember seeing that. I remember being like a kid, like pretty young, 12, 13. And I knew who Bob Hope was at that point, but it was Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I remember watching that and liking it well enough. So you get them both. Lucille Ball did not have a huge film career.
Did and she didn't.
Stone pillows, y'all.
Yeah, I
Shut up.
just recently watched The Big Street that she was in, which was bizarre because it was not a comedy at all. It was more of a film noir, and she was like the main detective's secretary, basically, and like ran around and did all this work for him while he was trying to do other things. She was actually really, really good in there. I mean, of course she is, but
she's very good.
I watched some old I Love Lucy again recently, and holy shit, is that so fucking funny, even right now. I mean, it's just amazing.
She's hilarious.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
she's aged well. Like, I'm not talking about the woman. I'm talking about her as a personality. Because it's my mom's favorite TV show. And I was taking care of my mom, rehabbing her surgery, and we were watching I Love Lucy. And that shit still smacks so hard. It's so good. It's perfect is what it is. It is perfect.
Yes. And how fucking good is William Frawley in that when you know what he can do? And then he's playing Fred the curmudgeon. I mean, and he's always coming in with the zingers. I mean, and even Ethel's like putting him down, putting Lucy down, putting Ricky down. I just love that chemistry that those four had.
And how great is Desi Arnaz?
Oh, god damn. I mean, I was watching one episode where Lucy's trying to get in the show. They had one of the dancers that they had fell out. She broke her leg or something, so they needed to find somebody that fit this very expensive costume, so she has to lose all this weight. And while they're in the club and they're prepping for the show, there's Desi Arnaz doing fucking Cuban Pete. I'm just like, this is the best. Oh.
Right? Because that was an era where you couldn't just do one thing good. You had to do like four things great.
Again,
you had
just like Indian cinema.
Dance,
Indian cinema.
Indian cinema. Yeah. And it be a dramatic actor, but also be able to do comedy. Now, here's the thing with Lucille Ball. That again, you read any book, you delve a little bit into it. One of the first things you'll learn is she was not a natural comedian, and
natural redhead.
What? Okay, yeah, there you go. And also not a communist. Let's make that point very clear.
Yeah, I remember how they always would make fun of her hair color on the show, and basically, I don't know if that was just a shtick or what, but it was always implied that she dyed her hair.
Yeah. Well, she was not like some people off stage are as funny as they are on stage, but Lucille Ball was an actress and comedy was one of her skills. So the way they did it, this breaks my brain, but she would get the script for I Love Lucy and go, okay, now you're going to have to help me with this. And the director always had to sort of walk her through it, and they would work it out together. And she knew mathematically what would be funny, but not instinctually. So she really had to rehearse it and go, okay, so I'm going to do this here, and I'm going to act like this here, and I'm going to do this expression right here. And she'd sort of map it almost phonetically.
Wow.
And then she would do it. And people would say, look, this is nothing. This is actually a bigger compliment than just, hey, she glances at the script, comes out, does her shtick, and kills. It's like, no, she fucking sweated and rehearsed like a motherfucker to get it just right, and then brought it every single week on Friday night when they filmed. And then you're like, how is that even possible to like
genius
do that through craft, not just through I was born this way. She is a legend. But I will say again, I Love Lucy. Then there were 5 other Lucy shows that you do not want to fuck with.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
Coming soon to the Weirding Way Media Network, I Love Lucy, the podcast. God,
yeah, pretty much.
The thing with Lucy too is that she could go toe to toe with these comedians. Like Bob Hope was on the show. Remember when Harpo was on the show, and they redid the whole mirror gag from Duck Soup, and it's her and Harpo doing the mirror gag. It's so good, and just she could go with the best of them.
Yep.
Because I think
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was the best of them.
She was, yeah.
I mean, and again, it's more impressive on top of everything else because she's a woman in the industry at the time who is
Well, and
more
also-
respected than the men are at the time.
Well, and also making those wise decisions like shooting the whole thing on 16 millimeter, having Carl Freund, straight over from UFA, being your cinematographer for every single episode. I mean,
Like producing fucking Star Trek.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Desi Lu was
Productions,
was a force.
Yeah, Star Trek, TOS. I mean, they're instrumental in that.
3 or 4 years ago, there was an Aaron Sorkin show or movie.
It's a movie
or
with
something.
Nicole Kidman and Javier
Yes.
Bardem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And J.K. Simmons as William Frawley.
yes.
Which played Ethel?
I don't know who
forget
played Ethel.
but it hit on some stuff, but I didn't love it. But then there was also Amy Poehler produced a documentary that was mostly, actual footage of Desi Lu, because Desi Lu is, if not the most fascinating story in television history, it's in the top one. The relationship between Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, both professionally and romantically and just, up and down, sexually, family wise, there is no more interesting story of two people who really respected each other and loved each other. I mean, Desi Arnaz, this was not one of those, she's the broad, I kind of let her do some stuff. He held her in such high regard and she held him in such high regard. And they both really worked well together, except for the fact that Desi Arnaz had to fuck every single woman he saw, and he wasn't gay. Okay, Chris, let's just get there now.
No, he was just fucking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, he was. Again, you watch that show, and you're just like, my God, like good God, I get it. Like,
you know what my favorite part of I Love Lucy is when you watch it and you hear that actual live studio audience. And you hear fucking Desi Arnaz in the audience laughing, like he's watching the show and he's laughing at the same time because he's got that kind of laugh.
Yes,
It is so good.
Well, we've strayed far away from Bob Hope.
Yes, we have. But talking about how you have to have a man and woman of many talents. You mentioned Silver Bells in here, but we also have that other song that they're doing when all of the old ladies are there on the game tables, and that's a great song as well.
Yeah, really endearing, really sweet. It's just if there is a thing that is a hidden gem, that I think this is a hidden gem. It's so worth checking out. If you're a person who tends toward holiday movies, again, this is something you should be aware of. And it's nice to know of amazingly talented people from what's coming very close to 100 years ago.
Which is pretty fucking wild. I mean, again, because on top of everything else, if we backtrack 20 years to Bob Hope being in his late 20s, that would have been 1931. Which is effectively 100 years ago at this point. Like we're in the sub, the high 90s, sub 100 amount of years. Like it's crazy. And this is again like Bob Hope at 47. Like, which is just, Jesus, I hope I look like him when I'm 47. Good Lord, Bob Hope. And again, look, again, like, I think y'all have brought me around more just having this conversation about the movie and his performance. I do want to watch more of his stuff because, again, I appreciated him as an actor. Maybe I didn't like the role so much is maybe the issue. And this is going to be such a weird fucking aside, and maybe it's not just an aside, but the character's name, it did bother me that they were calling him the kid over and over again. Because now that I know he was like a fucking 50-year-old man, it's like, holy shit, he's not a kid at all.
Yeah. When you thought he was 28, it was
man.
barely tolerable, but now it's just unacceptable.
Yeah, the lemon drop man, old man.
The lemon drop man.
Fucking 50 years old. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, I think I turned 47 during the pandemic.
Right, yeah, I think you're right. But you don't. But I don't think the Projection Booth podcast has a poster of you with the flowing gold locks. Though I think, if you ever wanted to change the album artwart to that, I mean, there you go. Just see what the fucking worst blonde Dutch boy wig I've ever seen ever.
Dear ChatGPT.
Right. Generate Mike White with a Dutch boy wig on, please.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean that's interesting because I kept seeing that on the posters, or I would see that, or I would see him in like that bonnet type of thing, and I'm like, okay, I don't really get this because you watch 90% of the movie and he's not in drag, and then suddenly right towards the end he just goes in drag to get in with the old dolls. And I'm like, okay, this works.
Full Mrs. Doubtfire.
Total Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
Sorry, Richard. I didn't mean to beat you to it.
No. Believe me, it was laying there.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It's the lowest of low hanging fruit. I mean.
Yeah, I thought that was really good though, and I like how the old ladies just accept him as one of their own. And then the whole thing where he's knitting and he keeps going, and I'm like, oh my god, that's such a monstrosity. They're like, what are you knitting? A mop. I'm like, okay, that's good. Yeah, there are so many good lines to this, so many good bits to this. I love him, rolling around on the floor with Oxford Charlie or whatever his name is. Just it really, really works. Like every joke lands for me in this. I just found it really, really delightful, and that it kept me guessing. Like even though, I would say I really couldn't figure it out throughout the whole thing. I mean, the way we start at that racetrack for so long, I think it's like 10 solid minutes before we move, and we find out that he's ruined the bet and everything. And then, like I said, it's like 98% of the movie is done before he even goes in drag and starts to do that part of it. And I was just like, yeah, this really is a very well balanced film.
And I'm glad that they didn't overdo it with the drag because, again, given the poster and all, I feel like they really could have leaned heavily into it. And I think it's the right amount. I will say the rear screen projection was a bit much.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding? For that era?
Oh,
that was beautiful.
It was for that era, especially. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was, people were fucking like, oh my God.
No, I believe it.
Vomiting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for me it was the fast motion at times was like like the cow and then the tables and everything, and there's like another part where it speeds up at one point. I was like, okay. I mean, it worked. It was funny. It could have been better, but
come on, it's zany.
It is zany. It's very zany. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing more of these.
I guess, Richard, you mentioned this being like a Christmas movie and it being kind of like a undercover Christmas movie, right? Because I mean, the original poster for the movie doesn't lead on that it's a Christmas movie, but now, like Mike mentioned, the poster, the album artwork is Christmas like leaning, right? Like it's
the DVD. Yeah. Even when I watched it this time, I was like, am I fooling myself? Is this really not is this sort of and I'm like, no, this is a whole solid
timeline. Yeah.
Total Christmas
23
movie.
days till Christmas. Yeah.
23 days till Christmas. The themes, everything.
It's because it came out in April. That's why it wasn't that's why it wasn't advertised as a Christmas movie. But it comes back to the question that I ask: why the fuck release a Christmas movie in April?
I don't know. They used to do shit like this.
Why release a Halloween movie in April? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like why I don't fucking get it. It's almost like there's a month of the year where you could release it.
Mike, I'll address this question to you. Is Man Who Came to Dinner a Christmas movie?
I would put it in a Christmas movie category. Yeah, I would.
It sort of is, but it's also sort of a Kaufman and Hart movie, and it's sort of a Monty Woolley movie, and it's sort of a 1930s sophisticated, Broadway play made into a movie. Like I would actually be surprised if Man Who Came to Dinner was released as a holiday movie when it was originally released. And yet it's it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Day.
Right. Well, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, there are too many. What was the movie? Batman Returns. I think that was a summer release. And I'm like, this is a total Christmas movie.
Okay, your favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard, was also a Christmas release. So there you go.
Well, yeah, that was much better. I mean, I still don't get why something that is set so solidly in wintertime, like The Thing was a summer release, but
Wait
whatever.
a second. Wait a second. The Thing was not set in the winter. It was set in Antarctica.
No. First goddamn week of winter is what McCready
Yeah,
says.
it is first goddamn week of winter, bro.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're at the South Pole?
Well, by looking at a calendar. Jinx, you owe me a Coke, Mike. Richard, we're living in the as Bo Burnham says, we're living in the future.
If that movie had started and he had said, "Look, guys, what are you complaining about? It's the first week of summer," it would have been hilarious, and no one would have questioned shit.
Well, again, you're not wrong, but to be fair, I think we still don't have an answer for the question of why the fuck do you release Christmas movies anytime other than Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of physical media. Now we can watch anything, anytime we want.
That's true. And you can find this on Amazon Prime for rent.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's on YouTube if you go region free and aren't in the United States. Otherwise, Sony blocks it in the United States. It is on YouTube.
I found that out the hard way today because I was watching it on YouTube, and right towards the end of the movie, it suddenly stopped and a black screen came up and said, "You must be in the United States for this," or outside of the United States. I was like, how did I watch 70% of this movie before you guys figured that out?
Did you watch the colorized version?
Oh, no.
I went on literally just because I couldn't find my DVDs because we've been, the house has been in a complete, cyclone, Christmas party, Christmas Day uproar. I couldn't find my DVD. So I'm like, I'll find it somewhere online. And then I found it on YouTube colorized.
Whoa.
And I'm like, well, I've never seen it colorized and it's the same damn movie. So what the hell? And I watched the colorized version, which was the shittiest job of colorization I've ever seen.
Oh boy. I just watched the colorized version of this film called Pitfall. And there's a lot of scenes that take place in a jail, and you get the mesh of the jail, and they just don't like the visiting room, you know what I'm talking about? And they just didn't even bother when it came to that mesh. They're like, the computer can't figure out what the hell to do with this, so we're just going to leave those in black and white.
Yeah. A lot of this just sort of fell to black and white. It was very odd.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to see a colorized version of this because I think it looks really good.
Oh, it does. It's a beautiful movie.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there you are, folks. I have no idea when this will air because I've recorded a bunch of these with Chris and he just doesn't ever release them.
But why not release them in June?
Yeah, that's what I planned on doing. I wasn't going to release them in December anyways.
Right. Why would you? It'll be in April.
Commitment to the bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Commitment to the bit, Adam. You forgot. If you're going to do Christmas movies, you got to release them in April. And yeah, that colorized version, I looked it up on YouTube just now. Holy fucking shit, that's awful. God, it's like, I'm just going to have a fucking seizure right now watching it. That's horrifying. It's just like, I wouldn't want to watch that on a big screen.
Having seen the movie, for me 15 times, it was playing while I was wrapping presents, and it was the perfect way to revisit it.
I was wrapping presents while watching this movie as well.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Christmas time, y'all. So starting with Mike and then you, Richard, final thoughts on The Lemon Drop Kid.
I had a great time with this. Thank you so much for inviting me on this episode. And thanks, Richard, for turning me on to The Lemon Drop Kid. I think this is going to be a really good gateway into even more Bob Hope, and I'm excited to see more of his stuff.
Chris is nodding at me, so it's my turn to talk. All right. Obviously, I chose it. I couldn't be happier that Mike is joining us on this episode. Not just because of his incredible insight into film, but because it's the three of us, and it's 2 days before Christmas, and this feels like the closest thing to the three of us getting together somewhere in a snowy tavern and raising a glass to the year that's gone by and the year that's coming up. It's not always easy. It's not always great, but when we have friends and people we love, we know we can make it through whatever the future has to give us. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll never find two better people than Chris Stachiw and Mike White, and I hope you enjoy The Lemon Drop Kid.
Well, as Richard, so Mike White doesn't have to talk because he almost got, but I have to talk now as I fight through the tears that Richard almost brought on. 2024, I mean, every opportunity that I've had to end these episodes this month, like Richard has mentioned so many times, Christmas is a time for looking back and forward and in the present. And in the present, for me right now, is much more important than looking to the future in a lot of ways. Because the thing about this movie is it's not really a past, future, or present movie as much as a redemptive arc movie. And a redemptive arc movie is also kind of a Christmas thing. We have in a lot of ways, Die Hard is a redemptive arc movie. He gets his wife back at the end. The Santa Claus is a redemptive arc movie. He learns how to be a dad in the end. I mean, holiday movies are about redemptive arcs, or in Rankin and Bass's case, the othering of people, and again, like that. There's so many things that remind me of Christmas, but specific avenues of Christmas, and this is a specific avenue of Christmas, which is the person who seems irredeemable can be redeemed in the end through their own choice and free will in the matter of redeeming themselves, and it comes from within. And I think that Bob Hope's 47-year-old kid character in this movie goes on a full journey by the end of the film. And while, again, I kind of maybe am bristling a little bit at the movie's portrayal of the character and also the fact that he's 47 years old, I really enjoyed my first Bob Hope movie. And again, it's a holiday movie that I think will enter rotation. And I didn't watch it by myself, so my folks were watching it with me, and they seem to enjoy it as well. So it has play for multiple audiences. So that's the other thing. To Richard's point, 2024 has been a long and trying year, and everybody deserves a good redemptive arc. And even the Lemon Drop Kid who's feeding horses lemon drop candy deserves a redemptive arc in the end. As Richard Hatem is on brand, putting chapstick on everybody, because at the end of the day, why not always be on brand? If you're Bob Hope, you're going to be on brand doing your comedy until you're 90 years old. And if you're Richard Hatem, you're going to be putting chapstick on because you put that in the Mothman prophecies. And, he always has chapstick on him, folks. So like Richard said, Mike and Richard are, this is as close as we will get to spending the holidays together, but that's okay. Through the magic of technology, we can do a digital toast. And so this is the second to last episode of 2024, and this is the last thing that the three of us are doing together for the year. And I'm glad that we get to watch a good movie. We get to go out on a rather high note for the three of us. So on that note, we'll take a break and we will play a preview for the final episode of Richard Hatem's Christmas Rotation Month and also of 2024.
Hi, I'm Susan.
And I'm Sharon. And we're the hosts of 80s TV Ladies.
Check us out wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
And please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 80s TV Ladies.
You can find interviews and exclusive behind-the-scenes content on all of your favorite 80s TV ladies.
80s TV Ladies is the place to go. Please join us.
80s TV Ladies.
Hi, this is HP from Noise Junkies.
And this is Father Malone from Dark Destinations.
Please join us as we examine one of the greatest sitcoms in television history, Taxi, on Night Mr. Walters, a Taxi podcast.
Good night, Mr. Walters.
Good evening, and welcome to Night Gallery.
Thank you, Rod. And I want to welcome everyone to Midnight Viewing, where once a month we talk all about your follow-up to The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling's Night Gallery.
They say it's Rod Serling's Night Gallery, and it isn't really Rod Serling's Night Gallery, it's somebody else's.
Oh, we know. We talk about it a lot. Your curators at Midnight Viewing are the projection booth's Mike White.
What can happen to human beings when trust is wiped out by suspicion?
And Kulturecast's Chris Stachiw.
Small boy encased in a crystal ball.
And I'm Father Malone.
The kind of thing that usually infests nightmares.
Join us monthly at Midnight Viewing, the Night Gallery podcast at weirdingwaymedia.com.
Doesn't remotely belong to me. I have no proprietary interest in that at all.
Merry Christmas. holiday season, it's the perfect time of year to find the one you love.
Christmas is a time to do something about it.
Like what?
And tell them exactly how you feel.
You've got nothing to lose, and you'll always regret it if you don't.
Don't let the holidays go by without love, actually.
Hello?
Rated R.
So, in some sort of sick, fucked up, I don't even know, ironic fashion, Richard, the final movie of 2024 is Love Actually. You fucking psychopath.
I picked it a year ago.
I know.
You can't blame me.
It's like when Mike White picked those fucking post-apocalyptic Soviet movies in March of 2020. We couldn't have known.
Okay. I thought you had a real problem with Love Actually, the movie.
No, I have no problem with it.
Okay. I have no problem with it either.
The irony of it is more what I'm getting at.
Yeah, people now just seem to like to dump on that movie. And I'm like, I'm fine with it still.
Love Actually is a fun movie, and we're super excited to have Susan Lambert on that episode to join Richard and I to close out the year. Richard's wife, his Love Actually. So until then, Mike, where can people find you and the things that you work on?
Pretty much everything that I do is available at weirdandwaymedia.com, except for the Rankin on Bond podcast that the three of us do together. And that's available at Chris's Patreon or my Patreon. That's patreon.com/Kulturecast or patreon.com/Projection Booth. How about you, Richard Haddam?
Well, I love hanging out on Weirding Way. I pop up on Kulturecast. I pop up on Barney Miller. I try to pop up on Projection Booth. It's happened. Could happen again. But in any case, if you can't find me on Weirding Way, you can find me over at Richard Haddam's Paranormal Bookshelf. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me roll this back. I'm also a big supporter of another Weirding Way show, a little thing called 80s TV Ladies. Chris has reminded me.
The redemptive arc of Richard Haddam has met. Look at that, folks. He did it. For the first fucking time, I didn't have to do it. Thank you, Richard Haddam. Your redemptive arc is full.
I'm so far up my own ass, I forget about Susan's ass. But Susan is co-host with Sharon Johnson of 80s TV Ladies, a absolutely delightful trip back to the 80s television show, and the women who were in front of the camera and behind the camera and the people who made those shows. It's really fun. Check it out. And then if you like this voice, check out Richard Haddam's Paranormal Bookshelf anywhere you get podcasts. And I think I just released my 16th episode. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, that's my deal.
And my deal? What's my deal? weirdingwaymedia.com. Like Mike already mentioned, like Richard alluded to, that's where you can find all the audio diversions that we're part of. It's if you're looking for something to spend your time with that doesn't bum you out, I think everything we work on is pretty high energy and positivity for the most part. Sometimes we've been accused of being up our own asses, but I think we try to keep it real at Weirding Way Media for the most part. I think everybody's pretty chill. If you're listening to this, you know who you are, which is like, I don't know who listens to these shows that we work with. I don't know, because most of us have to hear our own voices all the time, and why would we subject ourselves to having to listen to it once we're done editing it? Right, Richard? You know all about editing your own stuff.
I've never done that.
We know. You still have a redemptive arc yet, Richard. You still have a chance.
There's a lot more redeeming to do.
Yeah. And yeah, as they both already alluded to, like, rate, and review whatever content you get, however you get it, wherever you get it. You can contribute financially, awesome, but I understand times are hard, and guess what? They're about to get even harder. So, that's always fun. And yeah, weirdingwaymedia.com, social media, who cares? I'm not going to plug my social media because it's not even worth mentioning. Mike, Richard, thank you so much both for joining me. This has been great. Like we both already, or three of us have alluded to, this is our version of a holiday party, essentially. So you got to be part of it. And we'll catch you on the next episode.